If you could protect your strength, your energy, and your health for the next 30 years, starting today, would you do that? Because today's conversation is not about weight loss. It's about health span. The number of years you feel strong, capable, and fully alive and not just existing, right? We don't want to just exist. I know you don't. I know I don't. So I want you to hear this clearly from the start. Your metabolism is not broken. We hear these things. I hear this from women saying that their metabolism is broken, but it's not. Our metabolism is responding for how we've been living our lives, how we have lived, how we are living. That's what's going on with our metabolism. And so when we understand that metabolism becomes a bridge between the urgency and empowerment, it becomes a bridge between science and self-trust. Now it's without shame, it's without blame, and it's without extremes. And this topic on metabolism, especially for us women over 40, you know what it does? It gets me all fired up. Yeah, I did that. I did that. Let's get into it. Hey girl, welcome back to another episode of Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar. And our very special guest, that's you. It's just me and you again this week, girl. I am super excited about talking about this topic today. Do we have any updates? We do. We have some very, very exciting updates. When this drops, I am on the verge of sharing the live registration for Rockstar Retreat 2026. It's going down, girl. I cannot even contain myself with the excitement that I have about Rockstar Retreat 2026. It has been a dream to do the Rockstar Retreat in such a way, so I'm excited. I've been talking a little bit about it here and there, and I've mentioned this on social media. I've mentioned it on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. Yes, if you're on LinkedIn, girl, find me. Let's connect over there. I started going strong in LinkedIn in 2025. I was like, you know what? I think a lot of the women that I connect with that are my vibe are on LinkedIn. So I started going strong on LinkedIn, but of course, I feel like I live on Instagram, and that's probably because I started there strong with my social media. But I'm digressing. Look at me. I'm going off. Say I can talk, girl. But it's also the ease. Like for me, I've been doing it so long. Instagram is so simple. I love the story aspect of it. I know TikTok's kind of getting into the stories too. It's just that I've been living. It's been a pattern. It's been a habit to show up on Instagram consistently. So anyway, I have been telling everybody about Rockstar Retreat 2026 that's coming. It is May 14th through 17th. And I'm just really pumped. So tomorrow, today's Monday when this drops. So tomorrow I'll be sending out the live announcement via email, all the details. I'll be sharing it on social media, the landing page to go see all of the details. And I'm just super, super duper pumped and excited about it because myself and Carla and Laura, we are the Rockstar Retreat 2026 team, and Laura's heading this up. Laura Crandall is heading up being our coordinator for Rockstar Retreat. So got some fresh blood in the team this year, and I'm really excited about what is to come. So good, so good. So anyway, that's happening. And what else? Always, you can. I started doing this year. If it's been on your heart, you want coaching in the area of fat loss, nutrition for fat loss, and building muscle and getting stronger and changing your lifestyle, not just being on a diet, because you know me, I am like diet rebellion, right? I'm the diet rebel over here. We don't do diets in RTF. We do lifestyle. And when we change our lifestyle, what changes? Everything changes. And then we do have the byproduct of what we really want, which is to recomposition our bodies, shed the fat, build muscle, get strong, lean, fit chicks, right? At any age. So if that's you and you've been wanting to, you don't need to wait. The doors are open and you can join Rock That Fitness. And so there's going to be a link in the show notes. Always, doors are open. But if you want to do it and do the Kickstart program, my 6-week Kickstart program, you don't have to join for that. You can do that. And right now we're kicking off in Kickstart the program right now with the ladies that I'm coaching in Kickstart round 12. These ladies are in week 3. So I'm excited. That's so much fun. I so enjoy watching women take full responsibility and start leading themselves in their own health and fitness, taking full responsibility in every aspect of their lives, removing the guilt, the shame, the judgment, and really making progress that's going to count and be lasting change. This fires me up, girl. So with that said, that's also going to be inside the show notes. If you want to do the next round of Kickstart with me live, that is going to be starting in March. And so you want to get on this priority list so you have early action bonuses. You're going to get my free gift, $100 off of the program of Kickstart. And yeah, get on it. The link's going to be in the show note. Get on show notes and get on the deadline. I should mention that the deadline for getting on this priority list is February 27th. So don't delay, because I want you to be in the loop, know what's going on, get the emails and those kind of things. As far as the Rockstar Retreat 2026, that also will be in the show notes in terms of like to get on the email list, like be on my list, get on my email list, get on the Rockstar Fit Cheek. Oh my God, did I just say that? The Rockstar Fit Cheek. Okay, kind of goes. But if you want to be on my Rockstar Fit Chick weekly newsletter, which I don't know why you wouldn't, get on there, go to the show notes, and that link will also be in there, and you won't miss anything. Everything will be in there. It'll even give you highlights of what's happening every week in our Rockstar world. All right. Is that enough? What else do we want to talk about today? How about one more thing? Did you have a great Valentine's Day weekend? It's again, here I am recording right before Valentine's Day, and I have plans this weekend to go out of town with my country boy. We are going to Falcon State Park to go off-road bike riding, camping in the cabin. We've been there before. It's a pretty cool place. It's in the middle of nowhere, really. It's down there, on the border by Mexico and Texas. So, looking forward to it. And we've already started celebrating Valentine's Day. This is kind of a little funny. We, obviously, Country Boy's always shopping on Amazon. That's like his favorite place to shop. I do some shopping on Amazon too, but not nearly as much as he does. And I was like, I'm going to go on Amazon and pick up a few things to, have ordered and have here at the house before Valentine's Day. And I go in there and I needed to go and return something in there. So I went to the return. So we have to go to orders, right? The list of orders, and we share the Amazon. So I saw some things that he ordered for me for Valentine's Day. So yes, I saw that, Country Boy. And I confessed that I saw it because I said, I was walking on the beach this morning and I called him up and I forgot why I called. I don't even remember. And I was like, hey, your package is coming in from, UPS and Amazon. And he's like, yeah, we got some packages. I'm like, you know what? It's no secret. We both have gotten each other some gifts on Amazon. So let's just start celebrating now. And today's Thursday. So we laughed about it. And I got home from walking on the beach and we exchanged some gifts. It was really fun. Why am I telling you that? I still have some more gifts, right? He still has some more gifts too. We're going to give each other when we're on this trip. So anyways, I hope that you have had a great Valentine's Day. And, above all, right, it's a day of celebrating love, and it doesn't have to be with the person romantically that you're with, And you know me, I'm always celebrating self-love, right? I mean, you've got my shirt. Look, I'm sporting my self-care, self-love shirt today. And by the way, it seems like every time I wear this self-care, self-love tank top, this is the rocker tank. And by the way, you can go to the Rockstar store. All the stuff is there, the swag. But every time I wear this to the gym, I get compliments on this, and mostly men. No, I don't think they're coming up to me for that reason. But no, for real. They're like, I really like your shirt. I hope that's not the reason. Jeez, I know sometimes I'm so naive. Even at this age in my life, I am sometimes naive. I will admit it. All right, girl. Thanks for listening to all my jibber jabber. It is time to jump into this episode, this podcast topic. So let's talk about the metabolism. Because a lot of times what's going on is women are saying, or people in general say, that our metabolism is slowing down because of age. And I am going to mostly disagree with that. I mean, you can say that to an extent, but I want to get into the details of the reason why, because it's something, there's a lot of things that we can do to take control of that and make changes and prevent this. So what does metabolism actually mean? Like, what is it actually? When I say metabolism, I'm not just talking about burning calories. Your metabolism is the sum total of how your body processes everything. How it uses all of the energy that you put into it, how your body actually produces energy, how it uses energy, how it manages energy to keep you alive and functioning and resilient. That is what metabolism is. And so that includes three main things, and that is first your basal metabolic rate, your muscle tissue, and lifestyle signals. And I don't talk a lot about this. I think probably we should talk more about it. And as a nurse, I geek out about, the science, the anatomy and physiology of the body. But what is a metabolic rate? Like, what is the basal metabolic rate? This is a very, very important thing to understand. The basal metabolic rate is really, it's just the rate at which your body uses energy, the energy your body needs just to keep you alive, breathing, circulating blood, running your organs. If you are just laying there sleeping, okay, basically, you're not, doing anything active. It's your metabolic rate. How much energy your body is actually expending just to be alive, just for all of this mass, all of this body tissue to exist in a living organism. Okay, that's your metabolic rate, your basal metabolic rate. And why we need it. One thing I want to say right here before I forget, because I could probably forget, is it's really important to know that when you say basal metabolic rate, let me put this in terms of like calories, okay? If you've ever been looking at your, your food tracker or, some of these apps that weigh you and you have all your statistics in there, and sometimes it'll tell you like what is your basal metabolic rate based on your age, your weight, your height, all those kind of things. And so you might see something in there that could say, I know mine says something like 15 or 1600 calories. That would be how many calories my body requires just to exist every day. Think about that. If I didn't eat more than 1600 calories in a given day, like on average, my body, if I'm just giving you a scenario, okay, and I did that, that's just what I need. That's just what my body needs just to exist. And so that's not including, so if I'm expending a lot of energy and I'm exercising, and I'm doing all these activities and I'm thinking, your brain actually burns calories when you're thinking, making decisions, coming up with solutions, problem solving, all of that. What if I didn't? Then I would be in a serious deficiency in energy. And the reason this is so important, I didn't intend to go in this direction, but the reason this is so important is because if you are only eating your basal metabolic rate, then you're in a serious deficiency. And a lot of women are eating even below that because they think they need to be in a calorie deficit that's even below that, but they don't realize they are, but it's happening. So I may get into that a little bit later. And by the way, I hope you know that if you ever have questions about anything that I'm talking about here on the podcast or even on social media, anytime, or just email me, girl. You can email me at anna@rockthatfitness.com. Feel free to ask me if there's any questions that you have. Like I know when I'm listening to something, sometimes I have a question. It's just nice to be able to just ask. So you're welcome to ask me if you want me to expand on something. So these things that are included in our metabolism, right? Your basal metabolic rate And second, your muscle tissue, right? Because this is the most metabolically active tissue in your body. And it's one of the biggest things that you actually have control over. And thirdly, your lifestyle, because your lifestyle is signaling, these things. It signals how you eat, how you move, how you manage stress, how well your body rests and recovers, all of that lifestyle. So here is the reframe that I want us all to hear. Your metabolism is adaptive. It's not broken. It changes based on what you do and what you don't do. So there's a lot of things we can do to control our metabolism, actually. So let's get into why women over 40 feel like they may be metabolically stuck. So many women I talk to feel like their metabolism is just stopped working, it's not responding. And I'm not saying that's not true, because I know that it can be that, it could be true. But when we look at the physiology, the reasons are actually very clear. And it's very human. So years of dieting, right? Under eating. And we know this is true. I mean, most of the women that I work with and coach have come to me after years of dieting and trying every diet in the world, under eating, like chronically under eating. And this can definitely impact your metabolism. But I don't think that is really most of the time the issue. Okay. And another one, long stretches of trying to eat less instead of nourish your body more. Again, chronically under eating and not nourishing your body is going to impact your metabolism. And this eating so under nourishing your body is definitely going to create a decline in your muscle mass over time. That's just what's going to happen scientifically. And after the age of 30, muscle is naturally beginning to decline anyway, at about a 3 to 5% per decade, and that adds up. And then it's even faster. That decline of our muscle mass is even faster when we are inactive and we're not fueling our body appropriately. We're not getting enough protein to maintain muscle mass. So then that muscle mass is declining even more. And then don't forget about the hormonal shifts. Yes, that does play a role, right? As we're aging, especially us women, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. And then chronic stress. That's another one that's going to impact our metabolism. I'm not going to get into the details of all of these things because if you know me by now, I am here to keep things very simple. We don't need to waste our energy trying to get into the weeds and the details of all of this stuff, because this is something that, quite frankly, just rubs me the wrong way. Because women are listening to all of the messages. I mean, I know you're bombarded by it, but we don't have to on social media, on TV, whatever you're listening to, because I know there's like doctors and experts out there. They're telling you all of the details, all the scientific details of stuff, like what is happening with stress and your cortisol, and then women get they get all wound up. And they start overthinking and complicating everything. But girl, if you know me, you've known me long enough, I keep things simple. Simple is sustainable. Just know chronic stress will impact your metabolism. We don't need to get into the details of that, right? Unless you want to be a scientist, unless you want to do some research. But what's the point? Why are we going there when really all we want is to live in such a way that our lifestyle is in alignment with our goals, to be healthy, strong, and fit? So that's something that's going to impact. So that's a little side note, because I really am I'm a fan of, preventing that energy drain. And that's a drain of our energy to go in that direction. So is the news. I'm not going to watch the news. If something is important enough, I will see it. I will know. So not enough rest and recovery is absolutely going to impact your metabolism as well. And all of these things are not a discipline problem. I mean, let's face it, you have done plenty of things in your life. You know that you have discipline. It's just a mismatch between our biology and how we've been choosing to live our life up until this point. That's what this comes down to. And so often, while we're doing the very best you could do with this information, time and support you had, sometimes we just lose sight of it. And we're not supporting our metabolism in a way that's in alignment with our goals. And we're human, and it's easy to forget and get carried away and distracted by all the things in life. So moving on, I want to talk about this in a very loving way, this next part, that there is an urgency for us to do something when it comes to our metabolism, and we still can, even at this age. We're past the age of 40. Some of us are past the age of 50. Hello, that's moi. 55. It's amazing. And I'm honored and privileged that I've gotten to live this long. But some of us are even older, like 60 or even 70. But whatever age, we need to be aware that there really is an urgency, but not with an urgency of fear. Like, oh my gosh, I got to do something right now. Because how's that helpful, right? That's just increasing your stress. I'm not here to fear monger. I'm not here to cause fear, but I'm here to maybe this is a wake up call because I care. And I want you to truly think about how the way that you are continuing to live may be impacting your metabolism in, a negative way. So I'm just saying this in a very grounded and loving way. And I think I know you know me, right? I know I do this with love, and I care deeply, passionately. And so the window for protecting our muscles and our bones and our metabolic health, it's not gonna slam shut overnight. We know that, but we need to be aware of it. It is closing. And as we're aging, right, that window is getting narrower and narrower the longer we wait. And it just gets more challenging the longer we wait. And strength is going to support our metabolism. It protects our metabolism because muscle is the primary tissue responsible for using up the sugars in our blood, glucose, and maintaining maintaining our insulin sensitivity. And that word gets thrown around a lot. So I want to bring some clarity to what this means in just a minute so that so that you have information, you're educated and can make educated decisions about what you're doing and why you're doing it. To me, it's such a motivating fact, such a motivating driver, such a driver for me. I don't know about you. I'm thinking you're probably a lot like me. When we understand the science and the physiology behind why we're doing what the heck we're doing, aren't we more motivated? Aren't we more driven to show up and do the thing? I have a little example I want to share with you here in just a second about that before I get into it. But before I get into talking about the insulin resistance, because I do want to shed a little light on this. It's very important for us to understand this and how muscle plays a role in it. But like I said, so muscle is the tissue that's responsible for using up the glucose in our blood and maintaining that insulin sensitivity. And so this is keeping your resting energy and keeping your resting energy needs higher. Does that make sense? So that's boosting your metabolism. So what happens is losing muscle quietly lowers your metabolism function. Even if the body's weight is staying the same, you're losing muscle mass, you may be gaining some fat. So that's why we always talk about body composition, not just losing weight. Because, girl, you can lose weight easy overnight. Just don't drink water for a day. You'll lose some pounds, right? Or how about you just chug a whole gallon of water, right? Half a gallon or something. Yeah, stand on the scale, you'll see a difference. So that's why we're not just talking about weight loss. And then the other thing that, muscle mass is going to help us have is strong bones, because bones stay strong because the muscles are pulling on them, like resistance. When we do resistance training, the muscles are pulling on the bones, which creates that density, which creates strong bones. That's what's happening. When we say, well, I want to keep my strong bones. Well, got to have resistance training, strength training to do that, because the muscles are going to pull on the bones and the bones have to adapt and stay strong. That's what's happening there scientifically, okay? And then, the daily function, getting up we want to be able to get up off the floor, get up off the toilet. We want to carry our groceries. We want to carry our 40-pound bag of salt to the pool, or, bags of mulch in the spring. I know you ladies know what I'm talking about, especially those of you, a lot of you rock stars inside of RTF. I see you doing that stuff, all the stuff that you're doing out in your yard work, carrying, rocks and shoveling rocks and digging holes and carrying all kinds of stuff. But we want to be able to continue to do that so that we can live freely, so we don't feel so fragile and weak. And you can. I mean, granted, we are aging. That's not going to change. The body is aging, but we can still do everything possible to try to maintain our muscle mass. And doing these things daily, keeping up with our activity, moving our bodies and stuff, it's dependent on our muscles. We must have muscle to do that. This matters far beyond the scale. So here's my little story I was going to tell you about why, when you understand the science, maybe it's not for everybody, okay? Maybe not everybody's like this, but, and tell me if you are, because I have a little story. If you don't know this, when I was young, I had an addiction to smoking cigarettes. And it went on and on. It was off and on. And I'll never forget, I don't know if I should even share this or not, but so I didn't plan on sharing this story, but it came up, and I think it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny and sad, and it's sad in another way, but it is kind of funny. And that is, my mom was a single mom, and it was just me and my little sister. And I remember, and she was a single mom. I think I was like 4. I want to say, I was like 4 years old. I started kindergarten when I was 4 years old. And I do have some memories about that. And my mom used to work in the bars night after night for years. And she would not wake up in the morning. So I'd get myself ready for school, eat my breakfast, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I was like free reign of the house in the morning, my sister and I. But one morning, I don't even know, I think my sister and my mom were sleeping, and it was on the weekend, I think, because why would I be doing this on a weekday? But basically, when my mom was asleep, I was in the living room, and her cigarettes were there, and I lit one. I lit the cigarette, and I put it in the ashtray. Just set it there. And then, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm telling y'all this. And I went into my mom's room to see if she was awake. I mean, I was 4 years old. I'm like, are you awake? I asked her. Then she woke up and she could smell the cigarette smoke. So she got up and I got in big trouble. Anyway, it's just a funny memory of my first encounter of lighting a cigarette. But anyway, when I was in junior high, I started smoking cigarettes with me, my friends. We would sneak cigarettes. We would steal cigarettes from our parents. We would get money and we would go try to buy cigarettes. I know it was against the law, but we would find somebody to buy them. We'd get them. So I started getting addicted to smoking cigarettes in junior high, and then off and on in high school. And then after high school, I would smoke, but I was a closet smoker. I didn't want anybody to know. Something in me said, this is not right, it's wrong. But I did off and on have times where I would quit, but then I was smoked for a long time, and I was really ashamed and embarrassed of it, and I was really frustrated with the addiction. Anyway, I'm going to get to my point. There were a lot of times I would quit, and then I would start back up, and I'd be mad. But when I went to nursing school and I was in anatomy and physiology class, when we went through this section all about gas exchange of the lungs, and I started really learning the details of the lungs and gas exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, and how the blood pumps oxygen throughout your body, and how the lungs actually work, and all of the things that happen on a micro level, I was like, I am never picking up another cigarette again. And I had seen those commercials with lungs that were black. That didn't bother me. I mean, it bothered me a little bit, but it didn't bother me enough, obviously. But this class and understanding the science and the nitty gritty, girl, I didn't pick up another cigarette since. That was back in 2012. That's when it was like, that's it. I haven't picked up another cigarette since. So that's my funny story. You're welcome. But the point of that is, when we learn something, isn't it true? Is it true for you? It is for me. When I learn something to a certain point, sometimes it's there's all of these dots that are getting connected, but sometimes it just takes more dots to get connected until finally, boom, you see the big picture and you're like, oh, now I understand. So the driver, I hope that some of this really hits home for you when it comes to, if you're struggling in your area of health and fitness, and this puts a fire under you, girl, and that window is closing, there is an urgency, so we need to stay on it. Why do you think I'm always I'm going to the gym, I'm staying consistent, and I do when I'm doing my strength training. I am thinking to myself, I'm going to stay strong for as long as I can. I'm going to enjoy my life as long as I can, with longevity, with lifespan, a health span. So quick clarity, going over to this insulin resistance I want to talk about real quick here. I just want to explain something important in simple terms, because this insulin resistance gets thrown around a lot. And it happens when your cells stop responding very well to insulin, when your body stops responding to insulin. This is the hormone that helps move sugars in your blood from your bloodstream into your cells to function properly. That's what that's about. So when that happens, your body has to produce more and more insulin just to manage the blood sugar in your body. This is how diabetes happens. This is how type 2 diabetes happens over time. That's how it leads up to it, okay? That can lead to fat storage, energy crashes, and then, like I said, and eventually into type 2 diabetes. And this is why muscle and movement are so critical, because muscle is the primary place where glucose goes after your meals. And so more muscle means better blood sugar control and better insulin sensitivity. More muscle, okay? Now, what actually improves metabolism after 40? And I'm going to try to get through this kind of quickly here. I know I've been kind of keeping you. Let's break it down, okay? This comes down to 4 things. Muscle, these are the things that are going to improve your metabolism after 40. It's going to be your muscle mass. It's going to be your fuel, how you're nourishing your body. It's going to be your stress management. And it's going to be your consistency. So let's talk about muscle. This is what we hear all the time, right? It's the organ of longevity. If you haven't heard that, let it light up your mind. It's the organ of longevity. That's muscle. Muscle isn't about being toned or aesthetics, even though we like that. Muscle is the metabolic insurance for our body. Muscle uses more calories at rest than fat, which raises your basal metabolic rate, right? The more muscle mass you have on your body, the more energy your body is going to be burning just at rest. And I don't know about you, but that gets me really excited about maintaining my muscle mass and building my muscles. Muscle is where most of the glucose disposal happens after you eat. So this is going to help stabilize your blood glucose, your blood sugar, and it's going to reduce stress on insulin. Muscle also releases myokines. I hope I'm saying that word right, because I usually read that word. But these are signaling proteins. These proteins that they reduce inflammation and they support your brain health. So many great valuable benefits of our muscles. This is why strength training doesn't just burn calories. It's actually influencing how we age. Muscle is an organ that helps regulate your entire body, your metabolism, your immunity, your bones, and even your cognitive function, believe it or not. And then fuel, right? The food isn't just calories. Food is information, that food going into your body. Because chronic undereating teaches your body to conserve energy. It's not going to burn energy. You're undereating. It needs to hang on to everything that it can. Adequate protein helps preserve the muscle. So we need to make sure we're getting not just adequate, I shouldn't even say adequate, but optimal amounts of protein. And plus, as we're aging, our body is not processing protein as efficiently. Oh, I have a hair. Sorry. I keep on going like this because I have a hair in my face. That's annoying. So we want to have optimal amounts of protein to preserve muscle mass. We want to have balanced carbohydrates and healthy fats so we can support our hormones and our energy. Those, very, very important. We want to have balance in that. And then how you eat tells your metabolism whether the times are scarce or whether it's safe to thrive. That's legitimately what's happening with your body. Your body is smart. It knows. It wants to keep you alive, and so it's going to conserve if you are under eating. There we go again. Okay, take a swig of water. Let's just take a swig. Cheers. All right, let's talk about stress management. Stress matters more than women realize, and we are actually even more stressed than we think we are. And yes, cortisol is the stress hormone, and it does directly affect our metabolism. So even though I'm going to share a little bit on this, I don't want you to be wigging out about this. Don't get in the weeds about this. Just know that we do need to learn to manage this, become at peace, to learn how to respond rather than react and allow our nervous system to go out of whack. Because high cortisol does increase fat storage. We don't need to go into the details. Just know it's not healthy, right? A certain amount of cortisol is important. We need some of that. That is a normal human hormone that we need for function. But we don't want to have high, over amounts of cortisol in our body. Chronic stress lowers our metabolic efficiency, right? How many times have you been so stressed for a long period of time, and then what happens? Boom, breakdown. Immunity breaks down. You're sick, right? And you said, I've been stressed. I know it happens to me. I can feel it in my body, in my nervous system, when it feels like if I don't relax and calm down, I am definitely going to be getting sick. I know you know what I'm talking about. So we got to manage our stress. We want to have proper recovery from our workouts. We want to make sure we're not just getting sleep. We don't want interrupted sleep. So if you have interrupted sleep, that is creating stress in your body throughout the day. We want to have optimal sleep, not just sleep. Go check out one of my sleep episodes. Rest days. We want rest days. We need relaxation. I believe strongly in somehow including some stress management practices in your day on a daily basis. I do mine in the morning and sometimes, in the afternoon or just in between times. Even you could be doing it in the middle of standing in line at the grocery store, taking a breath, checking in with yourself, checking in with your breathing, how you're feeling, how your nervous system is feeling right now. You can feel that in your body. This is what tells your body it's safe. When our body is in constant flight or fight survival mode, it doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel like it needs to be in the opposite, right? Rest and digest. When it's in that rest and digest mode, the body knows it's safe to grow and repair, heal, regenerate all of your cells. Metabolism works best when your nervous system feels safe. Okay. And then lastly here on this one, the consistency. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Your body is going to adapt to patterns, not extremes. That's why when you do something intensely and extreme, your body is not. It's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And a lot of women think, oh yeah, I just did that workout. It was so great. Okay, but doing that constantly is creating more stress in your body. Your body is going to best adapt to patterns that are regulated, right? In a pattern, normal consistency. Because quick bursts of effort without follow through don't change much, right? But we want steady strength training on a plan, regular movement, whether it be daily walking or a little bit of steady state cardio, consistent nourishment, creating a new baseline in your body. These are the things. Consistency rewires your metabolism far more than any intensive exercise or any intensity ever will, to intensity in anything. Our body's going to respond to steady state exercise, steady state strength training, steady state eating, a pattern, because then it feels safe and it's efficient for your metabolism. And so let's talk about let's reframe what changes everything, right? I hope that this message for you is clear. Your health is not about cosmetic results. I mean, we do love that. We love to look strong, healthy, fit, and sexy. Yes, let's put that in there because we do. But what really matters in the long run, you and I both know, it's lasting capability. The stronger you get now, the more life you get to enjoy now and later. Your metabolism isn't something to fear. It's something to support. Become friends with your metabolism. It's a daily choice that protects your independence. It protects your joy. It protects your life. It protects the possibilities in your life. So here, I'm going to leave you with a few questions to challenge you today. Okay. What if the next decade is the strongest decade of your life? And it can be. It truly can be. What if taking care of you now actually allows you to show up even more for your family, which benefits you, right, as well, and helps you show up strong, healthy, confident in your work every day, girl. You're going to be able to produce way more in this healthy state. Show up in a way that is going to produce all kinds of things. You're going to, everything. KPIs are going to go up, girl. Revenue is going to go up. You're going to get more customers. You're going to have that magnetism. Who doesn't want that? You're working. Let's make it count. Show up. Healthy, strong, fit metabolism for yourself. So your work and the people you love. You're going to be showing up even stronger with the people that you love. And remember this, health isn't selfish, right? And self-love is not selfish. It is required. It is necessary. It's all of this. It's the foundation of every role that you're playing in your life. And as a side note, these are just roles that we're playing. Okay. I was just having a conversation with one of my clients the other day, and it was like, kind of like an aha moment, because so many women get to this place of empty nest or this stage of life, even if you don't have kids, and you're like, what am I doing? Who am I? Right? You are you. You are not your body. You are not your brain. You are you. You're not this role you're playing as a mom, as a wife, as a grandmother, as a person who, an entrepreneur, a business owner, a career woman, whatever you do for work. Those are just roles that we're playing. It's not you. I don't know why I just wanted to say that. I just want to encourage you to love yourself, self-care, self-love. And I'm just want to leave you with that charge. This window is closing. And the longer we wait, the narrower that window gets, the less time we have to make it really count. And it's not too late, but it does get harder. So get on. So I'm going to close with this invitation to you. Join Rock That Fitness. Come be a part of this community. You were never meant to do this alone. Or get on the priority list for the Kickstart program, round 13 coming up. Lucky 13. Get on the priority list and be ready, because we're going to kick it off in March again. 6 weeks of live coaching with me. I'm going to walk you step by step. And yes, Kickstart is inside of the membership. It's just a DIY there. It's not live. But there will be opportunities later to join Kickstart anytime. Some of our members come back to Kickstart multiple times because it's a live, week by week group coaching experience. That there's just nothing like community. It's very powerful. Not only are you being coached and getting the things that you need in your health and your fitness, guidance there, but then you're doing it with others. And I have no words. Strong when it comes to community. It's a very powerful place to be. All right, girl, thank you so much for your time today. I'm gonna let you go now. I hope that there was something in this episode that spoke loudly to you, and that you will step up into the best version of yourself today if you haven't. And if you have, keep on going, girl. Let's rock this, okay? Self-care, self-love, every day, all day, every day. Do I have your word? Good. Let's rock.